No, I was very recently invited to the British Parliament to speak on a variety of topics, but especially Kashmir, because 26th October 1947 was when Kashmir formally acceded to the Union of India. Apart from that, I met various members of the House of Commons and House of Lords. And one thing which came out very clearly, which was very obvious, is the kind of respect that they had for the Indian Armed Forces. One British Member of Parliament said that had it not been for Indian troops, the outcome of the First World War and the Second World War would have been totally different. He spoke about Kargil, and he said that I've studied the battle, I've studied the terrain and the topography of Kargil and the entire chain of events leading up to Kargil. And he had just one question. He says, how the hell did you guys do it? They look at the Indian Army with a mixture of reverence and awe. This is what I saw there, this is what I felt there. And whomever you spoke with, when they realized that I was from the Indian Army, they would have anecdotes about the Indian Army, which they had heard from their grandfathers and their fathers. And they would remember it with a lot of fondness, a lot of respect, like you would a senior relative in those terms. And they were very kind, they were very gracious. But I cannot help but compare it to what I see in India sometimes. You have people directly attacking the person of the Chief of the Army Staff for reasons unknown. So some politician will get up and say, he talks like a sadak ka gunda or a roadside thug. Some politician will say that this entire surgical strike thing is fake. Recently, Ramachandra Guha said, the chief speaks too much. Now, this defies all logic. I do not know what is the standard to be set. How much should the chief speak? Who is the Chief of the Army Staff? Let's start with that. Who is the Chief of the Army Staff? In this army, how do you motivate people? You're asking a man to die for some notion of honor, which most people outside the army may not understand. You're asking a man to die. You're asking a man every day to put his life in harm's way. When the chief says that Field Marshal Cariappa should be awarded with the Bharat Ratna, he's speaking for the Indian Army. Now these intellectuals, what they would have us do is come back in those nice coffins wrapped in the tricolor. As long as we and our brothers are dying, they are happy to say Jai Hind and Bharat Mata ki Jai. But when an army officer or army Jawan speaks, that is the time when they have a problem. Why is this person speaking so much? Why is he standing up for his men? Why is he standing up for the Indian Army? I say, thank God we have a chief who speaks up. Our voice is being heard and we are grateful that he speaks. He speaks because rocks are being thrown at his boys in Kashmir. He speaks because he understands that there is a problem in this country. We are fighting an existential war with Pakistan. We have a very serious problem with China. It is because of the Indian Army that the Chinese withdraw in Dokulam. They withdrew from that place because the Indian Army did not. Again, among the intellectuals, there was a great deal of effort to muddy the waters and say that no, China did not withdraw and it was a mutual withdrawal. They ask this question, why does the Chief of Army Staff speak so much? You know, in the corporate sector, how do you motivate people? They get money, they get paid holidays, they get bonuses, and this is how you motivate people to perform better in office, give a better output at work. How do you motivate men in the Indian Army or the defense services for that matter? How do you motivate a soldier? Nobody gets additional money. Nobody gets anything. You have to understand the context in which the Indian Army functions, and without understanding the context, your knowledge is incomplete. You say, why does the general speak so much? You know, this reminds me of an old poem that I read once in the academy. We the unforgiven, led by the unknown, have done the impossible for the ungrateful. There are people in this country, that special brand of left-leaning intellectuals, that will forever be ungrateful. They don't realize that the peace that we enjoy today, there is some soldier at the border who's dying. Every single day, coffins are coming back from the border, from the northeast, from Siachen Glacier, from the other hotspots. How can you hope to become a superpower if you want to keep your army mute? A mute army is not a superpower's army. American generals speak. If they disagree with what the government is doing in Afghanistan and Iraq, they speak. They stand on the floor of the Congress and they speak. British generals speak. So I'm giving you an example of democracies, robust democracies, democracies older than ours, with systems and institutions which are far deeper and far stronger than what we have in India. And those people speak. Why can't General Bipin Rawat speak? What is wrong with the Chief of the Army Staff speaking? Now I want to ask a question. Is he speaking about anything which is political? No, he's speaking about his men. That is his duty. By speaking, the general is simply doing his duty. They say that the chief speaks too much. What is the Chief of the Army Staff supposed to do? He's supposed to motivate his men. He's supposed to stand in front. This is leadership by example. He has to be seen to be leading his men. The Chief, General Bipin Rawat, is asking those million-plus men to march into the mouth of the devil. If you're asking a man to die for you, the cause has to be so noble, the cause has to be so great, that this man unflinchingly walks into the mouth of the cannon. And what is this cause? This cause is India, and this cause, the flag bearer of this cause, is the Indian Army. The chief has to speak. Thank God we have a chief who speaks. Thank God we have a chief who motivates.